Hello and welcome, Red Baron here. Thanks for joining me today. We are looking at Banished. This game has been around for quite some time, 6 years to be exact. And if you are watching this video, I'm almost sure that you either heard about it, played it, just want to have a look at it, how it stands today. Now, I've played the game maybe a year after its original release in 2014. I found the game quite buggy, unstable, maybe lacking content. There were quite a couple of mechanics that I was not impressed about. So I sort of just left the game, and it was sat in the corner of my library for 5 long years. Almost 5 long years. Wow. And recently I just felt like maybe giving it another go. So I played the game, the vanilla version of it, for couple of days maybe. I watched some great videos of Raptor, so go check him out. I'll post the link down below in the description. And he's got some great content on that, so I won't be looking at the vanilla version of the game today. What I want to show you today is some mods that I went into installing it into the game. Now when I play the game like Banished, after a while I get this horrendous itch. How would that play out if you were able to build a huge city, massive thriving metropolis, with tons and tons of goods and people running about doing all sorts of jobs, and do it within a reasonable time. So it's more for the fun part of the game rather than a chore part, if you like. So, like I said, I went ahead and installed some mods. Now, if you're new to the game and never played it or never installed any mods before, I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. So within your main menu, press on the mods. Now, you can see the list of mods that I've already installed, pre-installed, because obviously I was testing them, making sure that they are working. I don't want to show you something that is breaking the game, something that is full of bugs, etc, etc. So I spent good 15-20 hours testing those past couple of days, and they seem to be stable. I didn't see any major issues with them, no issues at all actually. But yeah, these mods are already in my list. If you don't have any here, then you have to press on Browse Workshop tab. Now there's tons of content on here. I mean, if you look at that, look how many mods you've got on this page. That is just one page. There's 29 of them. Wow, that's a lot of content. Now, some of it are translations. So if your first language is not English and you would prefer interface with your own native language, I'm almost certain you can find the translation within for your language. I mean, I'm Polish originally, and there is Polish translation. I'm not installing that. I feel comfortable with English as it is, so that's fine. But we're deviating a little bit. So I'm going to show you quickly how to install a mod within Banished. So you go on to a certain mod that you might like. Press on plus button, wait for it to be to download, install, and then you do all your mods in one go. You can do them separate, but it's going to take you longer. And that's why it's going to take you longer, because after installing the mods you have to reload the game. So you got this circling symbol, if you like, that says mod updates are ready. Press on that button after you install all your other mods. The game will reload, and then if you press on mods again, you will see your brand spanking new mod. Now this one is grayed out compared to the green ones. The difference: green is enabled, grayed disabled. Self-explanatory, really. I'm not gonna enable this because I'll show you in a minute. I'll be using something else for stockpiles. But first things first. It's a bit messy here at the minute. Let's just get rid of these. Okay, so the mods I'll be showing you in action today are Dairy Milk and Creamery. It basically adds you some extra resources to create, some extra professions, just to spice you up the game a little bit. There are quite a few more of those. Go check them out. Like really good stuff. But I'll just be looking at that, see how that expands on the vanilla version. Then you've got Steven's Grain Silo. Again, that was a mod that I was about to test, but we won't be doing that today. So I'll just enable that. Now this one, Flatland Terrain. Now vanilla version gives you an option of valley maps. I find them quite limiting, and as beautiful as they look, and as beautiful and varied the cities that you can create, it is limiting. So for the purposes of this video today, we'll be using the Flatland Terrain. Moving on, we installed some improved gatherers hut, improved herbalist, improved hunting cabin. These all improve on basic standard statistics of the said buildings, adding storage capacity to them as well, so that improves on efficiency, how the goods are delivered from these buildings. And we got improved mine, so we get a bit smaller model of the mine that takes a bit less space. Intensified fishing dock. Now at the beginning, when the food is scarce, you want to boost up your food production as soon as possible. Now I don't want to be relying just on gatherer's hut at the beginning. It sounds a bit boring and involves quite a bit of planning. So I just want to give the folk a bit of protein, if you like, from the fish. And that mod improves on efficiency of fishing dock, so that will help us quite a bit. Now you'll see two mods here that I'm planning to play with on the channel. In fact, I tried them for a little bit, but they are adding this a bit of extra challenge, and they can be quite hindering. But I'll talk about them when we make a video on those, so we'll just keep that. Now, unlimited mines and queries. Rebuilding mines and queries I find a bit tedious and pointless, because how can you deplete a mine or a query within 50 to 100 years period? It's especially in times that the game takes place, it's quite impossible. You need a lot of workforce to deplete those. So I find it quite useful, this mod, as well as when queries are moved around, you can reuse the area, not like in vanilla. So yeah, we got that. Improved woodcutters again. You got 3 stamps in the model of this building, so why you're not allowed originally to have 3 workers, I do not fully understand that. So I just installed that mod, and rather than building multiple woodcutters, we can just utilize a single building for quite some time. Now these 3 mods, what they basically do is they help you in the opening years of the game, increasing the yield from raw lumps of stone lumps of iron and trees, you get a bit more resources to boost up that initial expansion. Further on in the game, when you've got specialized buildings to acquire those resources, you'll be fine. But this just helps at the beginning, so I find them quite useful. And the bottom one, last one but not least, and personally I think it is one of the best mods out there for the game. Even if I was playing a vanilla version, I would still be tempted to enable that mod, just because what it does is it adds specialized stockpiles, as it says. So basically you can designate a stockpile for said resource, and your planning options are greatly increased and greatly how to say it, but basically your planning is far more efficient, because with original stockpile that was implemented in the game, I think you didn't have much control of it, so it was overflowing rather quick when you were gathering all the resources, and then all of a sudden you were running out. You had the stockpile filled up with wood, and you had nowhere to keep your stone, etc., etc. So you had to build another one, and then another one, and another one, and it was sort of stopping you or hindering your expansion if you didn't plan it correctly. With these, it makes it so much easier. So I'm pretty sure you will like those. So these are the mods. So once you enable, like I said, I disabled the previous one, so I have to reload the game again. So now we're pretty much ready with the mods. So let's dive in. Without further ado, let's press that new button, and that will give us the options to set up a new game. So let's name our town, or shall we name our area? Let's go the Death Valley. That's not really colourful. No, that doesn't sound really good for our fault, but hey ho, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I like to press that map seed a couple of times, although with the flatlands that we'll be using, it doesn't make much difference because it's going to be more or less the same every time. So now terrain type, God. The mod that we installed, it gives us a couple of additional options to valleys and mountains, which are flatlands. Now flatlands, they've got a couple of rivers, maybe a few lakes, as opposed to badlands where you only got one river and a stretch of flat land to build in. Now I find flatlands a bit more interesting, a bit more eye-catching, even though we are primarily here about expansion, building up, etc., etc. But I still like flatlands a bit more. Just in case you need to place that extra fishing dock somewhere and you just don't want to be dragging the fish across the whole map or something. So that's the terrain. Now terrain size, I like to go large, although trying small, medium might be not a bad idea to start it up, but I just go for large. Why not? Climate. Now climate, I haven't tried fair and harsh before. I would assume it will affect your farming, but we won't be looking at farming for quite some time, so yeah, we'll stick to mild. Why not? Disasters, okay. We've got it easy anyway, so yeah, let's keep a minimum amount of challenge anyway. Starting conditions. Now this might be contradicting the purpose of this video, but starting on medium or easy, I find it really limiting, if you like, when it comes to your initial expansion, because you've got pre-built building. Excuse me. Now on easy, you've got some home storage areas, etc., etc. You've got that pre-built, so you're already stuck to an area. You need to plan around it. On medium, you've got a barn. Again, you sort of have to start building up around it, and then maybe destroy it and move it somewhere else. So to me, it's sort of like you pointless waste of time. So I like to start hard. You only start with a cart, with a bit of resources on it, some tools, etc., etc. You've got no buildings, so you're literally free to roam until you decide to settle somewhere. So I like that start. So yeah, this is our game set up. I think we're ready to press that OK button. So let's dive in. Let's see how it plays out. Now, I spent quite some time playing this game, like I said before, on these mods, and it was quite fun. It wasn't challenging a lot, but it was fun, and that's what we're here for. So first thing first, hit that pause button, spacebar, or alternatively go into this menu, press the pause button, just stop it for a minute. Let's stop for a minute, see where we are. Alright, so let's go into this menu, tools and reports, bring up our sub menus, and all the information that we need. Just the general statistics, the log of events. That's really important. We're gonna have that throughout our game. Not all of those windows will be necessary throughout the game, but one of that will be definitely staying. Then the minimap, just in case we get lost, like I just did now. There we go. Yep, there's our folk, right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it. Professions. We'll be assigning professions through this window. We'll be doing it through a different one later on, but we'll have this open for now. General statistics, and then limits on the resources. Quite important. You don't want to be piling up forever everything that you might just need a bit of, like tools or cloths, but then you might want to increase those limits, otherwise your folk will just run out. So now we've got our helpful little windows open. Let's have a look around where we are. So we got nice river fork here, river here. This might be another river fork. Yeah, this will be useful for trading, so that's what we want to set up. So like I said before, with hard start you get a cart with a bit of resources, not much. We're gonna have to start collecting something sooner than later. So what I'm thinking here now, what we might do is, I like to build my houses along the river to start with, just like, I don't know, fishing village to start with, and then build up on that, expand it a bit further. Now, if you notice, it is a flat land, so we will be limited with building our mines to the edges. Aha, there we go. So we need some mountains to build our mines. So the mines are all around the edge of the map, so we're gonna have to plan our expansion towards one of the edges, and then we can expand sort of like all the other direction. But first we need to focus on expanding towards those mountains to get the mines up and running. Okay, so like I said, what we might want to do is a little fishing village here. Yeah, quite a bit of forest here. Might set up our gatherers and foresters, somewhere in this area. Clear out all these rocks. Yeah, that's I like this bend. It looks quite nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we're gonna head towards. I think we're gonna head towards north a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. Right. So first things first, we need to plan out our initial village. So what we want to do is place some buildings. What we're gonna do is build the house first. Now we're gonna go for boarding house. Now, boarding house. Why boarding house? Because that will give our folk initial accommodation where they can go get warm, get some food, be happy, and our limited fuel resource that will be sustained within this house far more efficient than 3 or 4 separate houses. It will last longer, and we can focus on gathering our resources. So yeah, let's do that. Let's place the boarding house. No, in fact, do you know what? We'll start with the market. Every town needs a market. Let's do it sort of like here. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. Then we can build our houses around this area. Get a nice fishing village to start with. Then we can build a couple of bridges. Yeah, why not? Right. So we got our market. Now a boarding house. Let's place it. Yeah, this way. We'll do our hole here. Now you're gonna see me pausing some of these because all I'm doing here now is planning the layout, initial layout of the village, but there are priorities to take when it comes to building. That's our fishing dock. Like I said, I like to have a bit of variety of food at the beginning, so we'll start with fishing dock. We'll pause that. Now, so we've got our market, we've got our house, and we've got our fishing dock. Now, gatherer's hut. These are the best built in conjunction with a forester, even though we won't be getting the forester at first. And I also like to plan it out a little bit more, a little bit like sort of build it so that the radiuses are not overlapping or not overlapping a lot. Maybe a barn. Yeah, right, so let's do it that way. Let's build a barn for our food. That will be coming from Gatherer's Hut. And let's place our Gatherer's Hut so it just catches that. Got plenty of forest there to start with. We don't have to worry about the forest to grow in the trees. That's orchard, isn't it? That's forest. There we go. So let's build it somewhere around this area. Now, stockpiles. So you'll see, if you played the game before, this is your regular stockpile, and then you've got another sub-menu, specialized stockpiles, and you've got all the resources divided. So each stockpile will hold just one of these resources, depending on which one you choose for it to keep. So we want wood. Why did we place that? Now there we go. Gatherer's Hut, and there we go. Forester's Lodge. Let's place it next to the Forester's Lodge. Maybe this area. Yeah, there we go. Now it is quite fiddly, quite annoying. That's what I find about this game, regardless of whether it's vanilla or not. It's quite annoying when you don't have roads. You can mess up your buildings and then you have to redo it again. So I like to lay down the road, and I will be getting rid of it as soon as I've got my layout, because the builders will focus on them damn roads, wasting time. Really annoying. Right, so we got Forester's Lodge, we got that Gatherer's Hut, stockpile, for wood. What else we want? We'll want a hunter here. We will definitely want a hunter here in this area. And one more thing, one really important thing is the herbalist. Now our folk will get sick. They will get sick. They are not terminators. They are not indestructible. They will get some diseases, and we need to protect them from that. So we need a herbalist who will collect herbs. Further down the road, we'll be building a hospital as well, where they will be nursed away by a physician. Well, that's a bit further down the road. Like I said, it's not imminent necessity. Basically, what we want first is, let's just build a couple of houses this side. For the vicinity, for the workforce, and there we have it. Right, so that's our little foresting / gathering area laid out. So that's what you need: a herbalist, woodstock for Forester Lodge, Gatherer's Hut, Hunter's Cabin, and then a couple of houses. Now, why I'm going stone houses, not wood houses, you might ask? Well, that's where your mods come in. You can skip the wooden houses and go straight into upgraded versions of them. Those houses stay warmer for longer, so that's your fuel efficiency kicks in. Your fuel is not going to run out as quick, and then those houses don't catch fire as easily, so you don't have to worry about building wells all around the place. We'll look at that a bit later on. What we want to do now is pause the Forester Lodge. We definitely want to keep the Gatherer's Hut on. Hunter's Hut can wait. Since we're building the boarding house, stone house can wait. Stone house can wait, and the herbalist can wait. So we basically want the stockpile and the Gatherer's Hut on only. Now let's place a couple of more stockpiles for other resources, maybe. Oh no, let's not forget to get rid of the road. Like I said, silly builders will focus on that for whatever reason. One of the fiddly little things in this game that I'm not too keen on. Right, let's find. There we go. Here's our storage barn. So let's build some. Let's build a couple more stockpiles. Maybe not wood, stone. Yeah, let's just find the corner of that barn. 6x7 is enough. A bit, and another one for iron. 6x7 is enough as well. There we go. Yep. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So we got our storage. Initial storage for resources that will be imminently collected by our folk when they are clearing the area for the buildings. Okay, so that's looking really good. So that's our foresting area, like I said. This is our initial living area. There's our fishing dock. Right. So let's have a quick look. Roads. We don't want to build any roads, God no. Houses. We'll be looking at that after first winter. It's far more important to survive the first winter than to build loads of buildings at the same time and then hinder your most imminent production areas. Speaking of, we will need more fuel. We only got 100 fuel. I don't think that will keep us going. So what we want to do is build a woodcutter. Now if you remember, we did install a mod for a woodcutter. Yeah, let's place it that way. Now we installed the mod. Now by default, since I played the mod before and I was increasing the number of workers, it did say free. But when you first install the mod, this figure will be in its default vanilla version's value, and to utilize the free workers, you're gonna have to change that manually. But after that, it will just stay on free, as you saw before. Mine was still free. Let's keep it on one. Yeah, so and we'll pause that as well. So now we've got our initial layout. Let's get our folk to work. I think we'll do 4 builders to start with. So you can also increase the priority of the buildings. So let's start with the house. So we got 2 builders dedicated to that, and 1 builder dedicated to that, and another one, I suppose. Oh, and the barn. Yes, 1 is dedicated to the barn. Yeah, that looks good. We'll keep 4 laborers. Let's just quickly lay out some area to be cleared of resources. Boom. So let's go this. Boom. Boom. Focus on that first, lads, ladies. Cleared all this area out. Now, I don't want to be clearing all these trees. I'm gonna need them for my gatherer. So we're gonna switch into stone, collect stone mode. Let's just highlight all this area. Our foresting area. And then all the iron. We'll leave the trees. We like the trees. Keep the trees. Right. So, 30 minutes into video. Thank God. Let's unpause. Now, we can speed up the game. You can watch it on 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. 10 times can be a bit laggy depending on your equipment, on your gear that you're playing. So be vigilant to that. I like to keep it on 10, sometimes on 5. I bring it down to 5 when there are some decisions to make by me. And whenever I decide that I'm nearing a moment where I'm ready to expand, I'll do a big extra planning. I always hit that pause bar. It is your friend there. It will help you. So make sure to just keep pausing that game. If you need to have a look at your village again, if you're not happy with something, hit the pause game. Don't just let it run. You only need 1 or 2 mistakes, 2 minutes of it, the game running on times 10, and all your progress will be ruined. So just be vigilant. Okay, so our folks are running about like crazy. You can see those little icons with the house. That means basically they're homeless. That's why we want them to build this house. So crack on, guys. Got some wood. So whilst they're doing that, let's just quickly look through general stats. We got some logs. You can see the amount of resources basically here. So we got some logs. That number's depleting, but that's because they're building, which is good. Fuel, that will go down tremendously quick as soon as that boarding house is built. But that's not a problem. Food, that is one of our main concerns. Food, fuel, food. These are 2 main things that you have to keep watching. There is a 3rd one, unspoken one, which is expansion. If you expand too quick, that can kill you just as quick as starvation and freezing. So be vigilant. Make sure that whenever you expand, you are ready for it, and you've got stocks build up for your expansion. So that's your food. Ale, as much as I wish I could have some ale, we're not gonna have that for quite some time. Especially that, you know, we started it hard. We don't have any seeds to start your farming, which I said, like I said, we'll be living till the later game. Although it's not going to be as late game as you might think. And when compared to vanilla, I remember it took me about 20 to 25 years into the gameplay to build my first field that was manned every year. You could start it earlier, but you might have to reassign your farmer into other jobs, and you might not get much food out of it every year on year. So best just to leave it for later. So yeah, let's have a look at this side. Oh, we've got a little lake here. Oh, we've got another lake here. Oh, fallen trees falling. Right, there we go. So that's our house ready. So the folk carried some food and some fuel into the house, and now look at this. It's all on 0. This is gonna be tremendous. Right, we're into autumn, so we're not far off winter. We should be okay. So, yeah, we should survive. As long as we survive the first winter, we will be good. Right, hit that pause button for a minute. So, the buildings that we had set up to be built are built. Happy days, good for us. So, we got the gatherer ready. Let's assign some gatherers and get that food rolling in. Let's max out on the gatherer. He'll be our main source of food income for a while, along with the fisherman. So we want that fully staffed whenever possible. You'll see me rotating the labor stuff, labor around houses, around buildings from time to time. But it's not as bad as it is in vanilla. In vanilla, you're just constantly pressing those buttons here and changing the professions from one to another almost constantly. So you'll see how much less of it I'm doing with the mods. Okay, so we're okay with food, no fuel. Let's enable this fuel. We need the woodcutter going. Come on, guys. We need the woodcutter. And the fishing dock. Right, we can get the fishing dock. Okay, so now what I want to start thinking about is the stone houses. Let's get those stone houses going as well. Now building stone houses, that will allow us to start expanding. This is basically how you expand in this game. Build some houses, let the people move in there, and they will start setting up families, having more children, having more people. And that's how we're gonna get more labor, get more of those people to work. Okay, so a lot of buildings, you can have a look at their statistics for production, how well they do. And see, in vanilla you don't get this, but now the gatherer's hut and some other buildings, they can store their resources that they gathered, and then the vendor from the market will pick them up directly from them. So that speeds up the whole process and the efficiency goes up greatly. So let's have a look. I can see some food starting to pile up again. There we go. So previous season, nothing, because we're in the first year of this building operating. But when the year goes, whatever figures were on this side, they will just transfer onto this side. You can compare how efficient the building is year on year. If there are any inefficiencies, it could be due to deforestation, so you can keep an eye on that. When we get the forester, which we might actually enable to be built, yes, let's do that as well. So if the forester cuts too much forest, your gatherers will be less efficient, basically, because there will be less stuff to gather from the forest. And other way around, once we clear all these rocks, can you see all these rocks? Stone, iron, all this clears out, we will be in far better position. Okay, so we can increase these limits a bit more so that the production keeps going. Let's increase fuel to 600. We'll leave coal for now. Tools, change tools for now. Oh, and speaking of tools, we might have to start planning for the tools. What's going on with the woodcutter? Okay, so we got 4 builders. Nobody's building the woodcutter. Why? I don't know why. They must be doing something far more important, like cutting the tree or something. Right, let's increase the priority of this building. There we go. Now we've got the builder assigned to it. And they are clearing the area of the rocks, which is good. So now we can build a little stockpile for firewood. Let's do it somewhere near our woodcutters so he doesn't have to run miles around with his firewood at hand. Okay. So these guys are getting on with that. And we have almost all the buildings. There we go. Late winter. We survived the winter, guys, boys and girls. Oof. That's good. That's a good sign. Oh, there we go. Our fishing hut is ready. Shall we take a couple of builders off? Yeah, these guys can... they will crack on through it fairly quickly, you'll see. Let's assign a couple of fishermen. Now, why I'm not assigning that last labourer? It is something that I've learned for the past few days when I was playing the game. It's worth keeping one labourer, at least one labourer spare at all times. Death can happen, and when there is no, it does basically decrease your micromanagement. Whenever somebody dies for whatever reason, they were like frozen to death, or speaking of, we need some firewood, guys. We need some firewood to go in. What's going on here? Let's do that that way. Can increase the amount of builders for said building. Let's increase that priority a bit more. Right, there we go. 2 people doing that. Okay, let's hurry up, guys. Come on. There's people freezing here. Right, so what was I saying? Oh, yes. So basically, people can die, accidents, old age, etc. Women giving birth. And when they do, they need somebody to replace them at their work, unless they are a labourer. But basically, if, let's say, one of our gatherers died now, we've got a labourer to replace him with. If we didn't have that spare labourer, you would have to then reassign somebody to that job manually. So that is adding to your micromanagement, which is, in our playthrough, not desired. Because we are here about expansion, not we just want to build a massive city. So less micromanagement, the better. At least I like to think so. Okay. So boys and girls, we are reaching the end of this video, of this first episode. We are doing fairly well. Like I said, we did survive first spring. We are getting some food in. Our woodcutter should be built somewhere this year, maybe. Hopefully. Come on, guys. Hurry up. We got one of the houses. The other one will be built shortly. So, in the next episode, I will be building up a bit more. Oh, there we go. Our forest lodge is ready. Food is coming in. Do we need... We might grab one of the fishermen. I'll put them in the forest lodge. Yeah, you do that. Yeah, you go ahead. That's why I'm not enabling all of it, because I don't have the workforce to fill out all the spaces. So in next episode, I will show you a couple of more buildings. Probably we will manage to go into the likes of City Hall, which you've got under this tab. Basically, we will want to go through all these, but the well, provide the services to the town, and once we do that, we can start getting some traders in. Well, that's to come. So stay tuned. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, not to miss any more videos. And yeah, I'll be catching you soon. So see you then. Cheers. Peace.